With no badges and no coaching experience, can Sergio Chroosquets find a job?
Unemployed!
Not even the dignity of a response. Well, no, that's a lie. Sometimes I get laughed at. After nearly 2 months of applications, Burgos B called me in for an interview. I had to play it cool and not look desperate. They said I'm not the right fit. Many applications went across Spain, yet I remained unemployed in my mom's basement. She is very caring and patient. Days, weeks, and months went by, but my inbox remained empty. Empty of important emails. What is all this crap? I couldn't stand this. So once I applied for the Heya position, I phoned their local sports network and told them that I specifically want this job. Seemingly curious, they asked several questions about me, and the next day, they posted their article. Their fans laughed at me. However, after 19 unsuccessful applications, we finally received another interview. Unión Deportiva Samano, a club in Group 1 of the Segunda Federación. They were in last place and needed fresh ideas. That is where I met Luis. I needed this, so my associates told me to rizz him up. YouTube copyright can't handle the sauce, so let's switch tunes. It's great to be here. Let's get started, Luis.
Can you explain why you appear to be in the running for a few jobs right now?
Look, Luis, it's tough in these streets. I do my best every day, put one foot forward to find my next job. However, I have to consider my options. The one question that stumped me was when he asked what made me the ideal candidate. Each answer I could have given would have been a straight lie, so I remained vague, if not bizarre. We parted ways, and he said, let's be in touch. Despite what felt like having the job handed to me on a platter, a few days later, I had an interview with Unión Deportiva Oren. They're in the same group as Samano, but 7 points ahead. It's worth it to at least attend. I'm not sure if this Luis approach would work though, as their owner Javier had this mysterious presence. The room was lit up as normal, except for the area he sat in. For the entire interview, he didn't face me and looked out the window as he smoked a cigar. He asked the questions and I gave the answers. It lasted 14 if not 15 minutes, but I left there more confused than ever. Will either of these unique men want to hire me? A day before Christmas Eve, I would find out. Luis reached out again and told me the job is mine. I thought, this is great! My first ever job offer? Wait! I have to play hard to get. I convinced Luis to wait until the holidays were over before I signed the contract. Feliz Navidad came, but before the day concluded, I received a phone call from an unknown number. It'd be Javier. His offer is a budget of 9K per week versus Samano's 6.75K. My wage would be higher, and my position in the league would be too. This Christmas, I had to break Luis's heart, as this very next year, I will be manager of Ude Orense. As expected, fans are split on my appointment. I'm surprised I have any supporters in the first place. Nevertheless, my aim for the rest of the campaign is to avoid relegation. Let's keep it simple to start. A 4-2-3-1 tactic with a wing play direct style. Our debut will be against Real Oviedo B. There's tons of B teams throughout Spain's lower divisions as they're allowed to compete up to the second tier. The plan was to attack straight from kickoff and to begin our adventure in Spain. Alright. Ooh! Oh! Champi! What a start! 16 seconds in! Champi! More like the champion! The second longest serving player at the club, he filled our attacking mid-roll. Orense is located in the northwest of Spain, not actually that far from Oviedo. The closest city is Vigo, which of course has Celta de Vigo. So it's no surprise that academy players from that end of the beach end up here, such as Noel Gonzalez, who doubled our advantage from a corner. Our big day got capped off by his partner, Santi Prado, not to get confused with the winger, Samu Pardo. A 3-0 victory that shot us out of the relegation zone.
Mission complete!
Luis's Samano remained in last. Orense hadn't kept a clean sheet since match day 2, but with those goal scorers and me in charge, we'd have 3 by the end of our first month. 2 of them were draws, which did bring into question the abilities of our many strikers. A few seemed to be good options like Ocean, though he'd be replaced by Gamara in our 4th match. Gamara made an instant impact with an assist to Champi for our first goal in 3 matches. Champi returned the favor in the second half, setting up Gamara for the 2-0, and Champi himself would close it out and make sure we'd win 3-0 again. In addition, the fixture also saw the debut of Jeff Hendrick.
Jeff Hendrick's a baller.
Jeff Hendrick's
not a baller. He is.
In spite of his pace, he can put a shift at this level. That includes corners, as his delivery locked onto Prado's head. Unfortunately, we would fail to defeat Deportivo La Coruña B. An undefeated start can't last forever, with Langreo's Rene Reyes making our defenders look silly, which is the first time we conceded first, and he'd have an easier time later when our backline got caught out. We were able to shoot a lot, but finding chances to score proved difficult. Despite the positivity I spread about my start here, after 24 matches, we were 2 points above automatic relegation in a playoff relegation spot. Following, we played out a stalemate versus Avila, which dropped us into the bottom 5, back to where we started. To plan our next fixture against Salamanca, my assistant Juan suggested that we bring in a coach to help train the team and offer fresh ideas. Brilliant idea, Juan. Also, why don't you deal with the press conferences? For the new coach, however, I decided to bring in a man familiar with the Galician region, Nolito. What did he offer us? A coaching license. In our encounter with Salamanca, fans were saying we were cooking on the parrilla after Pablo's opener. Hendrick's partner in midfield, this guy has the ability to shoot from distance, so he's got the freedom. He assisted Champi for the second, and the Prado had us return to our favorite scoreline. Valladolid followed and are one of the best teams in the division for a good reason. Regardless, Jeff Hendrick nearly scored a golazo, and Santi Prado's jumping ability came to us again. Valladolid did respond early into the second half, but it's our guy Champi who once more scores the crucial goal. 2 wins on the trot jumped us into 10th place, 2 points out of relegation, with 7 to play. Up next, we hosted Samano and Luis. Our eyes met for a brief second. Nothing more than that. This is now purely business, and with his new coach Carlos Rios on a 2-game win streak as well, they were determined to hop out of relegation. In the 10th minute, we were cooking with Parrilla smacking the bar. But minutes later, we lost focus and burned the grill with Samano's Yulin Quintela's brilliant cross to Pedro Larucea. Afterwards, the opposition shut us down as we lost. Now, we're only 1 point above Samano, who are out of automatic relegation. 1 point out of the drop zone. Will I regret my decision not to join Samano, or can we survive these last 6 fixtures? With Champi by our side, we defeat Sariana 1-0. 4th place Chroosquets on match day 30 witnessed a brace from Victor Gamara for a 2-0 victory. Segoviana were in a promotion fight and should be a challenge with their offensive system. However, say his name and he appears. I believe in Jeff Hendrick. Our opponent's lack of belief in Jeff Hendrick, or themselves, were costing them with this big chance missed. Regrettably, Noel Gonzalez was a little too into the belief, as his attempt to clap coincided with handling the ball in the box, as Segoviana equalized. No, it's not that Fernando Llorente. No need to worry, a small blip wouldn't impact us in the second half, as Parilla's brilliant pass found Gamara to restore our lead. To clinch the match, we won a penalty in the 71st minute, and once again they said his name, as I believe in Jeff Hendrick. Samano though were on a tear with 6 wins in a row and 1 point behind us. They'd win on match day 32 and pass us in the table because we drew Lealtas 0-0. The former club of future Moroccan great Oussama Labiad. We're likely to avoid relegation regardless of the final 2 matches, but finishing behind Samano when they were 7 points behind us to begin my adventure would damage my ego. I'd begin to question if I made the right choice to follow my brain rather than my heart. Although, before our penultimate fixture, Samano would lose to Oviedo B, giving us the chance to pass them. In addition, a positive result versus Burgos B would guarantee safety. Samu Pardo would be our scorer, and he wouldn't be the only one, not the only scorer, in this match, as our opponents equalized prior to the half, and the second interval resulted in little. Still, we avoided relegation, and via goal difference, we're ahead of Samano with a game left. To conclude the campaign, we faced 4th place Numancia, while Samano hosted 6th place Avila. The highlight for us will be starting our academy players who came from our recent youth intake. An apparent golden generation with guys like Alvaro at right back and Jose Luis in midfield. They did well defensively, but our offense did little, as we ended the season in our second favorite scoreline. Samano, meanwhile, wouldn't win, as a Dumbia strike saw them finish 1 point behind us. Impressive work by Mr. Rios though, who was initially favored for the Orense job. Maybe we both ended up in the right spot. To conclude, it's tough to judge everybody's performances overall because I was only here for half a season. All the guys I mentioned earlier were good, while young goalkeeper Bruno Riello settled in as the new number 1. The Spanish lower leagues are chaotic, not just with the results, as your team constantly changes. Many players will join and many will leave. I just wish the latter weren't 2 of my starting defenders. Nevertheless, a contract extension is given, while a coaching license will be more difficult to get than breaking an Olympic record.